Ladies and gentlemen, imagine life as a grand dance, one that we do not perform alone, but rather as part of a larger, interconnected rhythm. This dance is not always graceful, nor is it always predictable. It is a dance with joy and with sorrow, with moments of triumph and moments of struggle. The Stoic philosophy offers us profound wisdom for how to navigate this dance, not just individually, but together. Life is an unpredictable and often chaotic journey. It is a dance, and like any good dance, it has its rhythm. Sometimes the music is slow and soothing, inviting us to move with ease, to reflect, to find peace in the present moment. Other times, the beat is fast, intense, and unforgiving, urging us to act quickly, to keep pace with the speed of events. The rhythm of life shifts and changes constantly, and often we have little to no control over it. The world around us can be tumultuous, filled with challenges, suffering, and uncertainty, and yet we are asked to move with it, to find grace in the face of unpredictability. As human beings, we tend to desire certainty, stability, and control. We want life to unfold according to our plans with minimal disruption to the smooth flow of our daily routines. However, Stoicism teaches us that this desire for control over the external world is a futile pursuit. The world will continue to play its unpredictable song regardless of our wishes. The true wisdom lies in how we respond to the music that life plays for us, how we adapt our movements to the rhythm that we find ourselves in. We do not need to be in control of the external world, but we do need to control how we move within it. Imagine a dancer who steps into the center of a stage, not knowing what the next step will be, not sure of the tempo of the music. If the dancer tries to force their own rhythm, trying to impose their will over the music, the dance becomes clumsy, awkward, and out of sync. On the other hand, when the dancer allows themselves to listen to the music, to feel the rhythm, and to move fluidly with it, the performance becomes a beautiful expression of harmony. This is how life should be approached, by letting go of the need to control every aspect of it and instead choosing to flow with it. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the only true control we possess is over our own responses, our thoughts, and our actions. In any given moment, we have the ability to choose how we will react to the world around us. If we face a difficult situation, the Stoics encourage us to take a deep breath, observe the circumstances, and respond with wisdom and patience. It is not the events of life that disturb us, but our judgment of those events. By aligning our responses with reason, we become like the dancer who moves gracefully, even in the midst of chaos. This is not to say that we should passively accept everything that comes our way. Rather, it means that we should acknowledge the rhythm of life and accept that there are moments when we must push forward and moments when we must slow down. At times, life will present us with challenges that demand courage and determination. At other times, we may find ourselves in situations that require patience and reflection. The key is to recognize that each moment has its own rhythm, and it is our job to learn how to move with it, to adapt, to be present with it. As we move through life, it is crucial to understand that we do not dance alone. We are part of a larger world, a larger community, and the music of life is not solely of our own making. Our steps are interwoven with those of others, and just as a dancer must stay in harmony with their partner, we must stay in harmony with the world and the people around us. We are not isolated entities. We are part of a collective experience. The dance of life is a shared one, and it is in this shared experience that we find meaning, growth, and connection. In the end, to dance through life is to accept that we cannot always dictate the tempo, but we can choose how we move. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control the world, we can control our attitudes toward it. We can choose to face the challenges with strength, to meet the joyous moments with gratitude, and to adapt with grace to whatever rhythm life presents us. By embracing the ever-changing tempo of life, we free ourselves from frustration and resistance, allowing ourselves to live with greater peace, clarity, and joy. In the dance of life, there are many things beyond our control: events that happen unexpectedly, the actions of others, and the shifting circumstances of the world around us. If we are constantly fixated on trying to control these external factors, we will find ourselves perpetually frustrated, overwhelmed, and disillusioned. The Stoic philosophy offers a powerful lesson here. Instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, we should focus our energy and attention on what is within our control: our own thoughts, our actions, and our responses. When faced with life's challenges, it is easy to become consumed by the desire to change or manipulate circumstances to our advantage. We may wish for things to be different, hoping that the difficult situation we are facing will magically resolve itself. However, Stoicism teaches us that such desires are futile, for the external world is unpredictable and often beyond our influence. The weather may not cooperate with our plans, a colleague's behavior may frustrate us, or the economy may take an unexpected turn. These are all things outside our control. If we allow ourselves to become consumed by the need to control these forces, we risk losing our peace of mind and direction. Instead, we must turn our attention inward, toward our own thoughts and actions, where true control lies. Our responses to life's events are the only things we truly command. The Stoics emphasize that it is not the external event itself that determines our emotional state or well-being, but how we choose to interpret and respond to that event. Two people can face the same challenge, yet experience it in vastly different ways based on their individual outlooks and attitudes. One might react with anger or frustration, while the other might find calm acceptance and even growth in the face of adversity. The difference lies not in the circumstances, but in the way each person chooses to respond. This idea of controlling our response is central to Stoic practice. In any given situation, we have the power to decide how we will react. We cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond to them. We cannot control the challenges that arise in our lives, but we can control how we meet those challenges. The key, then, is to cultivate an inner discipline, one that allows us to respond with clarity and wisdom, rather than being swept away by our emotions or external pressures. For example, imagine you are faced with a difficult conversation at work. Your colleague may act in a way that frustrates you, but how you choose to react is entirely up to you. You can choose to react with anger and defensiveness, or you can choose to respond with patience, understanding, and respect. The outcome of the conversation is influenced not just by the words exchanged, but by the manner in which you engage with the situation. By focusing on how you respond, you shift your energy from what you cannot control to what you can. This Stoic practice also encourages us to accept that we cannot control the outcome of every situation. We may put forth our best effort, act with integrity, and make thoughtful choices, but the results may still not turn out as we had hoped. Instead of becoming disheartened or frustrated by the outcome, Stoicism teaches us to focus on the process, the actions we take, the values we uphold, and the character we build. When we align our actions with virtue, we have done all we can, regardless of the outcome. The focus on controlling our responses leads us to a place of peace, knowing that we have acted with wisdom and integrity regardless of the external results. Moreover, the understanding that we cannot control the world around us allows us to find peace in the face of uncertainty. Life is filled with moments of unpredictability. Some we can prepare for, others we cannot. But instead of worrying over what we cannot change, we are encouraged to face life with equanimity, accepting that uncertainty is part of the human experience. This acceptance does not mean we become passive or complacent, but rather that we recognize where we can make a difference through our actions, our attitudes, and our choices. The true power in life comes not from attempting to control every circumstance, but from mastering the way we respond to what comes our way. When we focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, our emotions, and our behavior, we free ourselves from the stress and frustration that arise from trying to manipulate things beyond our reach. We move with grace, not in opposition to life's rhythm, but in harmony with it. By mastering our inner response, we gain the resilience and clarity needed to navigate the dance of life, regardless of the music playing. In the dance of life, we must recognize that we are not isolated beings moving alone in the world. Much like a dancer relies on their partner, we too are part of a larger, interconnected whole. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that we are all part of a greater community, and our lives are interwoven with the lives of others. We are not solitary individuals navigating a path in isolation. Instead, our journeys are deeply connected to the journeys of those around us. Just as a dancer must adjust their movements to stay in harmony with their partner, we too must adjust our actions and attitudes to align with the needs and rhythms of those around us. The Stoics emphasize the importance of seeing ourselves as part of a larger human community. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, frequently reminded himself that humans are social creatures by nature. It is through our interactions with others that we find meaning, purpose, and opportunities for growth. This is a fundamental aspect of the Stoic worldview, that our happiness and fulfillment are not found in isolation, but through our relationships, our interactions, and our contributions to the collective well-being of others. Much like dancers who rely on the coordination and trust of their partners to create a fluid and graceful performance, we too must learn to work with others. The dance of life is not one we perform alone, and our ability to move harmoniously through life depends largely on how we interact with and support those around us. In every interaction, whether with a family member, friend, colleague, or even a stranger, we have the opportunity to create harmony and contribute to the shared rhythm of life. The way we engage with others, how we offer help or seek it, and how we communicate and collaborate all affect the larger dance of humanity. To move with others in this dance requires patience, empathy, and a sense of shared responsibility. Stoicism teaches that our duty to others is grounded in our shared human nature. We all experience pain, joy, struggle, and triumph in various forms, and it is through understanding and supporting one another that we navigate the ups and downs of life. In the same way that dancers must be attuned to their partner's movements, we must be attuned to the needs and feelings of those around us. When we show empathy, when we listen with understanding, we create a rhythm that allows us to move forward together rather than in conflict. There is a deeper Stoic teaching here as well, the importance of recognizing the common good. While it may be tempting to focus solely on our personal goals and desires, Stoicism reminds us that we are not separate from the collective. Just as dancers move in sync with one another to create something beautiful, we must consider the impact of our actions on the greater whole. The Stoics believed that living virtuously meant acting in a way that promoted the welfare of all. Whether in our personal relationships, in our communities, or in the workplace, Our actions should be motivated by a sense of justice, fairness, and mutual respect. Our movements in the dance of life should not only serve our own interests, but also the well-being of those around us. At times, the rhythm of life may require us to step aside, to support others, or to adjust our pace to accommodate those in need. There will be moments when we must follow, not lead, in order to allow someone else to take the lead. This flexibility is an essential part of moving together in harmony. In a dance, if one partner falters, the other must adjust and provide support. Likewise, in life, when those around us face challenges, we have the responsibility to offer assistance, to be patient, and to adapt to their needs. This is the nature of a true community, recognizing that we are all part of the same performance, and the success of the whole depends on the cooperation of each individual. The Stoics also teach that our interconnectedness goes beyond just our immediate relationships. It extends to the wider human family. As we move through life, we encounter countless others, some we know well, others who are strangers to us. But each of these individuals plays a role in the larger dance. The Stoic sage, who has cultivated virtue, does not see others as obstacles or competitors, but as fellow travelers on the same journey. By helping others, by being compassionate and understanding, we contribute to the collective harmony of life. Ultimately, the dance of life is a shared experience, and our ability to move through it gracefully depends on how well we connect with others. By recognizing that we are not alone in this journey, that we are part of a larger whole, we can embrace a life of cooperation, mutual respect, and shared purpose. Through empathy, understanding, and support, we create a rhythm that allows us to move together in harmony, creating a dance that is not only beautiful but meaningful. The Stoics remind us that we are all part of one human family, and it is through our interconnectedness that we find true fulfillment. In the grand dance of life, every movement has meaning, and every step we take is guided by purpose. The Stoics teach us that, much like a dancer who must train and refine their technique to achieve grace, we must cultivate virtue to navigate life's challenges with integrity. The very foundation of a life well lived is rooted in virtue, which serves as the core of our actions, our decisions, and the way we engage with the world. In the Stoic worldview, virtue is not merely an abstract concept, but a practical guide for how to move through life in a way that is aligned with reason, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Virtue is the backbone of our actions, the essence that gives our movements meaning. Just as a dancer cannot perform effectively without mastering their technique, we cannot navigate life effectively without grounding our actions in virtue. The Stoics emphasize that we should strive to embody 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in everything we do. These virtues form the foundation of a life of balance and meaning. Each one of them is essential for moving through life with poise, just as each movement in a dance is essential to the overall performance. Wisdom, the first of the Stoic virtues, is the understanding of what is true and the ability to apply this knowledge in the right way. It is the foundation of our decisions and guides our responses to the world. In the context of the dance of life, wisdom is the dancer's awareness of the rhythm, the tempo, and the movements required to move gracefully through any situation. Without wisdom, we would stumble blindly, unable to adjust to the changing steps life demands. It helps us assess our circumstances, make thoughtful decisions, and understand the consequences of our actions. Wisdom is the clear vision that allows us to see beyond the immediate moment and choose actions that are in line with our deeper values. Courage, the second virtue, is essential in the face of fear difficulty, and adversity. Just as a dancer must have the courage to take risks, to perform in front of an audience, or to leap into the unknown, we too must have the courage to face life's challenges head on. Courage does not mean the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Life's dance can be daunting, full of obstacles that test our resolve, but courage allows us to push forward, knowing that each step taken in the face of adversity strengthens us. Whether we are confronting personal fears, standing up for what is right, or enduring hardship, courage enables us to continue moving forward with integrity and strength. Justice, the third virtue, is the sense of fairness and the commitment to act in ways that honor the dignity of others. Just as a dancer must be attuned to their partner's movements to maintain harmony, we must be attuned to the needs and rights of others in our actions. Justice requires that we treat others with respect, fairness, and kindness, recognizing that we are all part of a larger community. In the dance of life, when we act with justice, we ensure that our movements contribute to the collective good, that our actions help create an environment where everyone can flourish. It is through justice that we find our role within the larger human community, moving in a way that supports and nurtures others, rather than working in isolation or selfish pursuit. Temperance, the fourth Stoic virtue, is the practice of self-control and moderation. A dancer must learn to balance their energy, to know when to exert force and when to hold back. Similarly, we must practice temperance in our lives, finding balance in our desires, actions, and emotions. Life often presents us with temptations, distractions, and impulses that can lead us astray. Temperance helps us resist these impulses and maintain a sense of equilibrium. It allows us to remain focused on our higher purpose and prevents us from becoming consumed by excess, whether that be in our work, our relationships, or our pleasures. With temperance, we avoid the extremes that can derail us and instead move through life with steady, intentional actions that align with our values. These virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are not isolated traits. They work together in harmony to guide us through life's dance. A dancer's grace is not solely due to their ability to perform a particular step, but to their ability to integrate each movement into a larger whole, to be present in every moment while maintaining an awareness of the whole performance. Similarly, living virtuously requires us to integrate these principles into our daily lives, to allow them to guide our decisions and actions. By doing so, we cultivate a life of meaning and purpose, one that is aligned with nature and reason, and one that reflects our highest potential. In a world that often seems chaotic and uncertain, virtue provides the clarity and stability we need to move through life with grace. Just as a dancer relies on technique and practice to perform well, we too must cultivate virtue through continuous reflection and self-improvement. The Stoics remind us that the true beauty of life is not in the external circumstances, but in how we move through them, guided by virtue. By living virtuously, we ensure that every step we take, every decision we make, contributes to the greater dance of life, one that is harmonious, purposeful, and meaningful. The dance of life is ever-changing, constantly shifting in ways we cannot predict or control. Just as a dancer must adapt to the rhythm of the music, adjusting their movements in response to the beat, we too must learn to adapt to the inevitable changes that life presents. The Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting and embracing change, for it is a fundamental aspect of existence. Nothing in life is permanent, and it is this very impermanence that makes life both beautiful and unpredictable. Instead of resisting the changes that come our way, we are encouraged to move with them, to adapt with grace and resilience. Change is an inescapable reality of life. We experience change in countless forms: physical, emotional, social, and intellectual. Our bodies age, our circumstances evolve, and our relationships transform. Sometimes change is welcome, bringing new opportunities, growth, or joy. At other times, change is difficult, bringing challenges, loss, or discomfort. The Stoic perspective teaches that, rather than viewing change as something to fear or resist, we should recognize it as a natural part of the world's order. Just as the seasons change, so too does life flow in cycles of growth, decay, and renewal. In the dance of life, change is simply another step in the performance, another shift in the rhythm that we must learn to navigate. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoicism is its ability to help us accept change with equanimity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously taught that we cannot control external events, but we can control our responses to them. When life changes unexpectedly, we are not powerless. We have the ability to decide how we will respond. We can choose to resist, to become angry or fearful, or we can choose to accept the change with calmness and composure. Stoicism encourages us to view change not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth and learning. Each change, whether perceived as positive or negative, is an invitation to refine our character, to strengthen our resilience, and to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. In practice, accepting change requires us to cultivate a mindset of flexibility and openness. Just as a dancer must adjust their movements in response to the tempo or style of the music, we must adjust our expectations and behaviors in response to the changes that life brings. There are moments when we will have to slow down, reflect, and adapt our approach to life's challenges. At other times, we may need to move more quickly, taking bold action in the face of change. The key is to remain adaptable, to be willing to pivot when necessary, and to trust in our ability to navigate whatever comes our way. Another aspect of accepting change is recognizing that change is often beyond our control. Life's circumstances will shift regardless of our desires or plans. The job we thought we would keep for years may suddenly be lost. A relationship we took for granted may end, or an unforeseen health issue may arise. In these moments, the Stoic teaches us that our power lies not in resisting these changes, but in choosing how we respond to them. We must accept the reality of what is happening without clinging to what was or wishing for what could have been. The Stoic wisdom reminds us that the only thing truly within our control is our own response, and in this we find freedom. Moreover, accepting change also requires us to let go of attachment to outcomes. It is easy to become fixated on a specific vision of the future, to imagine that things should unfold in a certain way. However, life rarely goes according to plan, and the more tightly we hold onto expectations, the more we set ourselves up for disappointment. The Stoics encourage us to adopt a more fluid, open approach to life, understanding that our happiness does not depend on things remaining static or going exactly as we expect. Instead, true contentment comes from our ability to remain grounded and centered, regardless of how life unfolds. In a practical sense, accepting change also involves cultivating patience. Change does not always happen quickly or in the way we anticipate. Just as a dancer must be patient with themselves during the learning process, allowing themselves time to master new steps and techniques, we too must be patient with ourselves as we navigate the changes in our lives. Sometimes the process of adaptation takes time, and we may stumble or face setbacks along the way. Stoicism teaches us to accept these moments as part of the journey, knowing that each misstep offers valuable lessons that contribute to our growth. Ultimately, accepting change is about embracing the flow of life rather than resisting it. The dance of life is fluid, ever-evolving, and dynamic, and to resist this flow is to create unnecessary friction. Instead, we should strive to move with the rhythm of life, adapting to its changes with grace and wisdom. By embracing change, we free ourselves from the tyranny of expectations and the frustration of unmet desires. We open ourselves to the possibility of new experiences, new growth, and new opportunities. The Stoic principle of accepting change is not about passivity or resignation. It is about cultivating the resilience and inner strength to navigate the ever-shifting currents of life with courage, clarity, and peace. In the dance of life, there is a natural rhythm that calls for us to act in harmony with the world around us. The Stoics teach us that we must align ourselves with nature, not in a passive sense, but in a way that reflects an active engagement with the world as it is. To dance through life is not to exert control over the uncontrollable, but to cultivate a mindset of harmony and alignment with the natural order of things. This concept, central to Stoic philosophy, revolves around the idea that we must live in accordance with nature's principles and understand our place in the broader universe. Nature, in this Stoic sense, is not simply the physical world around us, but also the larger flow of events, circumstances, and relationships that make up our lives. It refers to the inherent order and reason that governs the cosmos. According to the Stoics, the universe is rational, and everything that happens is part of a larger plan, even if we cannot always see or understand it. This idea brings us to the notion of living according to nature, which for the Stoics means living in a way that is consistent with reason, virtue, and our true nature as human beings. Human beings, in the Stoic view, are not separate from nature, but an integral part of it. Our reason, our ability to think, reflect, and make choices, is a key feature of our human nature. Therefore, to live according to nature is to live with reason and wisdom, to understand that our thoughts and actions should reflect the harmony and order of the universe. This aligns with the Stoic belief that we should seek virtue in all things, understanding that virtue is the highest good and that living a virtuous life brings us closer to the natural order of the cosmos. When we live virtuously, we are aligned with the natural laws of the universe, and our actions are in harmony with its rational design. The concept of living according to nature also encourages us to accept the things that are beyond our control. The world will continue to move according to its own laws, and not every event or outcome will unfold in a way we desire. In this way, we must accept that there are forces beyond our individual power to influence. The Stoics remind us that, while we cannot control the external world, we can control our response to it. This is where the Stoic practice of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not becomes crucial. We must recognize that nature is neither good nor bad, it simply is. It is up to us to respond to it in ways that are virtuous and rational. The dance of life involves learning to navigate this constant flow of external events, adjusting our steps and movements as circumstances change. The Stoics teach us that, rather than resisting life's challenges or attempting to force our own desires onto the world, we must learn to accept what happens and move through it with equanimity. This requires a mindset that embraces what the world gives us, even when it is difficult or uncomfortable. Like a dancer who must adjust to an unexpected change in the rhythm of the music, we must adapt to life's unexpected shifts and embrace the flow of events with grace. The idea of living according to nature also speaks to the importance of understanding our role in the world. Just as a dancer must know their place within the choreography, we must recognize our unique position within the greater web of existence. We are part of a larger community, and our actions affect others. The Stoics remind us that we have a duty to act in a way that is beneficial not only to ourselves, but also to the greater good. This sense of interconnectedness means that we must consider how our actions impact the world around us, always striving to contribute to the collective harmony of society. In practical terms, aligning ourselves with nature means letting go of unrealistic expectations or demands on the world. We may desire specific outcomes or believe that things should unfold in a certain way, but life does not always conform to these desires. By accepting that we cannot force the world to meet our expectations, we become more flexible and open to the natural flow of events. We stop fighting against the current and begin to flow with it, moving gracefully through the challenges and opportunities life presents. Furthermore, living according to nature means developing a sense of humility. We are not the masters of the universe. We are part of a much larger order. The Stoic sage recognizes that there is wisdom in accepting the limitations of our control, and that true peace comes from aligning ourselves with the rhythms of the world, rather than trying to impose our will upon it. By accepting our place in the grand dance of life, we find freedom. We stop resisting the natural flow of events and instead learn to move within it, embracing the beauty and complexity of life as it unfolds. Ultimately, the Stoic approach to living according to nature invites us to embrace the dance of life with an open heart and a clear mind. It challenges us to act with wisdom, humility, and virtue, knowing that our lives are part of a greater whole. By aligning ourselves with the natural world and understanding our role in it, we find harmony, peace, and purpose. The dance may be unpredictable, but by accepting it as it is, we find ourselves moving gracefully through life, no matter what the rhythm may be. In conclusion, the dance of life is an intricate and ever-changing performance, and like skilled dancers, we must learn to move with its rhythms, embracing its uncertainties and adapting to its constant shifts. Through the lens of Stoic philosophy, we find valuable lessons on how to navigate life with grace, wisdom, and resilience. By understanding the interconnectedness of all, we recognize that our journey is not one we walk alone. We move alongside others, and together we create the harmony of existence. Embracing virtue, flexibility, and the natural order of things enables us to act with purpose, finding peace in moments of challenge and joy in the face of adversity. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control the external world, we have the power to control how we respond to it. By aligning our actions with reason, cultivating patience and empathy, and accepting change with an open heart, we can dance through life with integrity and purpose. Ultimately, this dance is not about perfection or rigid control, but about finding harmony in the face of life's inevitable fluctuations. When we live according to nature, acting in alignment with virtue and embracing our shared human experience, we move through life not with resistance, but with a sense of unity and grace. So, as we continue on our journey, let us remember that the true beauty of life lies not in controlling every step, but in dancing together, in harmony with the world and each other.